Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am going to do one more reading. It'll be a couple hours of reading for you guys from Books from Scars Publications for the 2020 Poetry Bomb. Poetry Bomb is a thing where you are supposed to go to some place where you don't normally hear poetry and share it in an unlikely place. I've been to many places in Chicago and in Texas for celebrating the Poetry Bomb. Because it's a Chicago-based thing. We did this in Chicago and it was all over the place and it was cool. And because of the coronavirus, COVID-19, everyone is sequestering themselves, quarantining themselves, and so they asked, the founders of the Poetry Bomb asked to make this a social media bomb, to post things like mad and hashtag everything, hashtag Poetry Bomb. I have created a Facebook page to put all of these things up on. I am doing a live stream, so I apologize to you that everything is backwards, including book titles that I can see here, or my hat with 312, which is where Poetry Bomb actually came from, and covers of books as I show them off. But I have one more set of poems that I'd like to read. I think maybe 5 poems from different events from a recent book release of mine. It is called Every Event of the Year, Volume 1, January through June. This book was because I decided to write a poem every day of the year in 2019, and you look for ideas, like what am I going to write about? So I would look for whatever crazy, weird holidays and events have happened and to write something about them. And I had enough material that Volume 1 could be a large volume. I believe the second half of this year, Volume 2 will come out. It is like 286 pages. There's tons of stuff in there. And all the themes are all so incredibly different because there are so many different weird holidays and things. So I thought I would share with you a couple April dates and maybe one May one, just to be fun, just to be different. So because Tom, the world poet, the Between Worlds poet, another Austin, Texas transplant who's been here for probably 15 years, but he would bring bifocals to things, and I would ask him, hey, can I put on your glasses? And so we would do that, and that would be really cool. So I would do this, and I'm going to read some of these poems for you. And I think this might be my last reading because it'll be a full 2 hours-ish of reading, which seems reasonable, totally reasonable for the Poetry Bomb. The founders of the Poetry Bomb, which is a Chicago-based thing, suggests that the last Sunday of April every year, you find a place where you don't normally have poetry, and you share poetry there. And I have read in all sorts of places in Chicago and in Texas because I've been honoring this Poetry Bomb annually. But because of the coronavirus, COVID-19, and everyone sequestering themselves and secluding themselves and quarantining themselves for safety's sake, they asked, the founders of the Poetry Bomb asked if you would just media bomb with poetry at this time, and to hashtag absolutely everything, hashtag Poetry Bomb. This is why I even created a Facebook event page so that I could put these live feeds up as well as video feeds, so that maybe you'll have video where I don't have my phone backwards, my phone number backwards, or book cover titles backwards. We can see it in 2 different ways from 2 different perspectives. I hope that works for you. Also, in homage to Tom, the world poet, another transplant that lives in Austin and is from Australia, he would always bring bifocal glasses to his readings, and he'd come with a stack of them. And I thought they were just so fun and entertaining. I'd put them on and be like posing, but I'd always have to wear them far away from my eyes because I can't see through them. But in homage to that idea, I would borrow this pair of glasses to be able to say yay for poetry even when it is at a bookstore in Austin, Texas, where I would see him all the time. So I was going to read to you a few poems from this poetry book. In 2019, I decided to write a poem every day of the year. That was my New Year's resolution. It was like beginning of 2020, I'm like, guess what? I'm not writing a poem today. Because you'd have to come up with things for writing a poem every day. And I would think, well, what kind of events happened? Are there weird holidays or something? And I found so many things to write about that it would suggest to me to make 2 event books. And this is Every Event of the Year, Volume 1, January through June. I have a 286-page volume 2 of this that might be out this fall or something, because everyone's so sequestered. I don't know if it'd be out by this summer, or we'll see what everybody wants. But it's interesting to have a book like this because you have different themes for every event of the year. And it's amazingly different. You don't get like a same feel for something, because I could be writing something for Atheist Pride Day, or writing something about Jesus for Lent, and they're just, it bounces on so many different things. The day Lennon shot himself, or was killed, or the day Kurt Cobain died, or the discovery of the celebration of the Bob. I think that, who knows, that might be one of the ones I'm going to be reading today. Who knows? But there's just so many different weird things to read about that I thought I would share with you a few poems from April, I believe, and one from May, just because I'm dressed in black and it'll be a good way to close this thing off for you guys. This first poem that I wanted to share with you is actually a poem for the birth of the World Wide Web. They consider it the founding of the World Wide Web, which was in, I believe they say it was April 7th, or so. This is a symbolic birthday. So this is the first poem I will share with you from this book, Every Event of the Year, Volume 1, January through June, and it is called Opportunity to Share Globally. Not too long before I was born, ARPA, the Advanced Research Projects Agency, gave BBN Technologies a contract to build a precursor to the World Wide Web. Less than 2 days later, I went to college as a computer science engineer at the university that helped lay the groundwork for the internet. Sorry, Al Gore, it wasn't all because of you. When I look back, I think of how my life, in some ways, may reflect the life of the internet. As we grew, so did my use of this tool to spread my literary work to people. With my hundreds of books and stacks of CDs sold in more countries than I can count, to musicians and authors literally on the other side of the planet, snail mail couldn't do that. You may have once called me a Luddite, but my literary magazine had a web page before any other colleague I knew did. And thanks to my web partner in crime, I like that I can give people my opportunity to share their writing with the rest of the world, thanks to this tool. I didn't know how this brainchild, which was created not too long before I was born, would parallel me so thoroughly through every chapter in my life. Forgive me for waxing poetic, but maybe the internet and I, in different ways, help people to not only get what they want, but to also grow. Okay, maybe I can't call myself as grandiose as the internet, but really, it seems like this World Wide Web has been on my trail since my whole life. So, digital or not, we may be more alike than you even actually think. Crazy. Before I was born, yep. This next one that I want to share with you is for the second full week of April, and that's National Library Week. How helpful that I seem to have a library of books behind me here. This one is for National Library Week, and it is called Just Read a Book. Remember your childhood, walking to the local library? It was great to borrow books for free. I tell you, you didn't have to give them any money for the chance to read a book versus, oh no, remember Blockbuster stores where you had to pay money to borrow a VHS tape before DVDs? Oh, the horror. Because now my library even offers movies and music releases, as well as audiobooks. What a deal! When I don't have the time to read massive nonfiction books, I would just take a library audiobooks with me on road trips and multitask my way through a higher state of being, and all on the honor system without spending a dime. As I got older, that library from my childhood asked me to read my poetry at that library. What an honor I thought, but the more I thought about it, the more I was in awe at just how much a library can do. Because more people go to libraries than all of the movie ticket stubs sold annually. As such a trusted resource, libraries have housed rare artifacts for safekeeping, like even the original copy of the Bill of Rights, as well as been a place to catalog everything of value to us. And why not? Former FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover, famous author Lewis Carroll, former First Lady Laura Bush, and even China's Mao Zedong were once librarians, which shows why job opportunities for libraries have remained on the rise. It makes sense if it does all of this, along with giving people, both the rich and the poor, a chance to use this place to learn and to grow. It is nice to know that not everyone is relying on their smartphones to get them all the temporary answers they can think of. So, instead, just read a book, even a free one. It's worth it. Well, that was a fun one, especially because right across it on the next page is April 12th, which is the Day of Silence. Which isn't appropriate when I'm reading poems to you, so consider that after I'm done reading. How about that? That's in April 12th. I've got 2 poems for a Day of Silence. This first one is a haiku called Destroy. Nothing can be pure when you destroy purity. My choice is silence. Okay, I'll speak now. Okay. This other one is the Day of Silence edit of Burning Building. This is what you don't allow me to say. You tell me that you want to be the hand that pulls me from the burning building. And every time I try to be rescued, you turn your back and walk away. So I will rescue myself this time again, and I will wonder if I should stop trying and allow myself to perish in the flames. Now, all I have to do is just sit and wait. And sitting in silence is exactly what I'll do. Why do you run away when I need you most? I'm stepping over the wooden beams now as the flames are all around me. Here, look at the blood dripping from my arms. Here, smell my flesh burning. This is what you do. I do not walk away unscathed. I never do. But now that I wait for my next burning building, I know I will never allow myself to enter it. Why can't it be easier to perish? I try, and every time at the last minute, my figure steps over the charred remains and saves me. If only there were no more burning buildings. If only I didn't have to save myself all the time. If only I could feel free just this once. If only I could feel safe with you just this once. If only your words were not the burning building. Okay. I'm going to do one from May to close this off, just because it's next month, and I will read more of these when I am hosting from the library once again, Poetic License, which is on the first Sunday of the month. It'll be an open page for people to be able to share on as well. I will share from New Books of CC&D and Down in the Dirt, and I will share May poems from this book for you, including this, but not including this poem, because I'm saving it for now because I happen to be wearing all black. I got my black lipstick and my black nail polish and my black 312 hat and my black dress, Chicago pantsuit. Anyway, I thought it would be appropriate to read this one, which I believe May 22nd, which oddly enough is Morrissey's birthday. But it wasn't named World Goth Day because it happened to also be Morrissey's birthday. I just wanted to get that out for you. I just thought that was freaky. But this is World Goth Day, May 22nd. And the poem that I have in this collection for you is called Exude More in Black. And it's funny because, as I said, if I have a short enough poem, or I could take a section of a poem and put it in with a video so that it could appear on Instagram and Tumblr and Twitter and Facebook. That is what I do. And I'm going to show this to different cameras because I got cameras everywhere. You're going to get it first. Ta-da! There's a picture. I'm trying to just look at it and show it for you. And I'm trying to show it for you. And there's an image that appeared as an Instagram image with part of this poem called Exude More in Black. Yeah, it's a picture of me in a veil. What? But this poem is called Exude More in Black for World Goth Day. There are a select few who understand the ludicrosity of life at a very early age. And maybe it is at that early age where we feel more tormented than any adult, even if they have problems from their jobs, their precious, meaningless jobs. We see people parade around like they're either in a fashion show or more appropriately, a circus. So who cares if we dress up like Halloween is every day, or if we wear black on the outside because black is how we feel on the inside. Because even if we can't wish Morrissey an unhappy birthday today, or drink one with him that becomes four when we fall on the floor, we drink more, we can still wear black and talk and act proto-goth. And you can think that we're all only about depression, and you're right, it's true. It's hard to be happy when you don't hide from evil. But just keep in mind that this black we wear, that black is actually the presence of all color. So we just see and exude more than you could ever do. We've known it since our childhood, and for that, we grasp more than you. I managed to quote Morrissey because this is his birthday on World Goth Day for this one poem. Just because I'm wearing black, I had to give you that one for a final poem for you guys. It's been about 2 hours that I have been reading. I'm getting hoarse. What is that? But I have to give waves to people that are here. Vito, hi. I'm going to post these things on my Facebook events page for this as well. I'm actually also recording this on another camera so that a video will exist where everything isn't backwards, because you have to do these video feeds for Facebook live feeds in selfie mode. So you can't see book covers in the right order. But I have been reading things from collection books, from Down in the Dirt foundations. I have to show them all off, even though I'm not reading from them this round. And the starter ones was from CC&D collection book called Aiming at Immortality, which of course has to have a picture of the Sears Tower, not the Willis Tower, not the Willis Tower, the Sears Tower peeking out from above a bed of clouds. I'm like, that's just the coolest thing ever. So I had readings from both of these for you guys. And I will also be reading again when I host the next home edition, Stay Safe edition of the Poetic License Open Mic, which is the first Sunday of the month from 3:30 to 5:30 in the afternoon, which is just in a week's time-ish, a week or two. So thank you all for listening. I heart you all. I hope everyone #poetrybombs everything, as I've been doing for the past couple of hours here. And everyone stay safe and stay poetic and stay creative. And we love you and have a great day, you guys. Love you.